Hello, Earthians. Welcome to the stream. We are live. My name is Aeon. I'm the head of community for ERTHA, and today we have gathered for the awesome and exciting ERTHA Beta version 0.6 launch event. Let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the elephant not in the room. Linus couldn't make it today, so it's going to be me and myself holding down the fort. We'll do everything in a more casual style this time around without any specific format. All I know is we're gonna have a look at the major version 0.6 update and then go from there. Once again, welcome everyone that's just joining me today. First things first, I want to let everybody know that the update will launch in about 1 to 2 hours from now, so get ready to play it yourself right after you see me present it to you. And for those who don't know what to expect, let me clue you in a little bit. This update introduces the ability for landowners to access their hexes. As we have said many times before, this will be done in rounds, and let me just go through the rounds so you understand what I'm talking about. So firstly, with today's update, we are opening up most water hexes, nearly 200,000 of them throughout all the oceans of the globe. And in the second round, we'll introduce the first countries. This will actually be a very interesting way we're going to do it. This is going to be a vote. We're going to have a massive vote in the community for the country that gathers the most votes will be the first to be open. So make sure to, rally up your community members and get ready to vote for the very first countries that will be opened up on the globe. We're going to keep doing this and eventually open up most of the countries on the globe. Of course, we're going to open some of the countries ourselves since, the world has like 200 countries, so 200 community votes would be quite insane, but we'll get there and we'll go through most of them. So I think without further ado, let's just jump in game and see what this update is all about. I can see already some viewers are joining us. Hopefully we can get more of you coming in as the stream unfolds. And I think we're just gonna start from the globe view. As you can already tell, well, you should be able to already tell, the UI and UX has been improved quite a bit. So this in-game globe is now looking much more similar to the globe you could have always found online, our original globe. But this globe has some very, very distinct features, some very distinct improvements that'll make your experience in ERTHA more in-game than out. So we're basically going to be starting using this globe for our hex axes, for our hex information, for our hex statistics going forward. This will be moving away from mostly moving away from the web version, but to, access your hexes and to terraform them and to build on them, and later on for other players to, play on your hexes, everything will be done in game. So the first thing you can see is we've introduced the minted, for sale, reserved, and owned hex view from the website globe. So you can obviously now just filter the hexes that are owned by someone else, filter those that are reserved, filter those that are for sale, and filter the hexes you own. So basically this feature is going to be super important going forward to understand what's going on in ERTHA, understand what land is available or what land is not available, and things like that. Secondly, we have introduced a search bar which will help you obviously find your or someone else's hex. So all you need to have is the hex ID, and you can use this search bar to find the hex on the globe. So let's just say we want to find hex 135 or something, and it'll pretty much instantly take you to the place where hex 135 is at, or you can maybe look up 151 500, and again it's going to take you to the place where this hex is at. So as I've mentioned before, with this current launch, we have opened up basically all of water hexes in ERTHA's oceans. For your hex to qualify to be opened with this current patch, it has to be 100% water. So for example, if you click on any hex, and you can see maybe it has iron, maybe it has titanium or whatever, the hex also has to have 100% water to be accessible with this update. And like I've mentioned, other hexes will be opened up later on by community voting. Okay, so another feature we have, another UI improvement we have added is basically now you're gonna see the hex your character is standing on in the top right corner. So my character has been on my hex 9277, and this is represented in the top right corner. Also, it says unknown because this is not like it's not a country hex. It's in the middle of the ocean, so the country is basically unknown. It's not a country, and basically that's how you're gonna know where your character is located. And currently you can basically teleport anywhere you want on the globe. You can click on any hex and just appear there, but further on, when the game actually goes live with the full economy, obviously your character will not be able to just teleport throughout the world. Your character will have a place it is located, and to travel from that place to another place, it's going to cost energy, or it's going to cost ERTHA tokens if you want to travel by vehicles like planes and boats. So that's basically that. And now for the most important feature of this update, you can now see this icon in the bottom right corner. Where you click it, it's going to show what hexes your account actually owns and has access to. So for my account, I own 4 hexes, and these are represented on this panel here. So again, you can just find it in the bottom right corner, and your hexes are going to be shown here. We're actually going to have a guide showing you how to connect your hexes to the in-game account. It's going to be very simple. Basically, all you need to do is connect your wallet, your external wallet, to the marketplace while having your account connected to the marketplace also, and that's just going to do it's just going to sync basically, and you're going to have access to those hexes in game. Later on, when land is actually movable and tradable, you're going to have land in your actual in-game account to access it and to terraform it, modify it, all that stuff, basically to own it. And then that's just going to be basically an addition onto this system. Okay, so I think that covers most of the globe features. Let's first of all, before I show the land access feature and the new terraforming, in the middle of the ocean features, let's just check out the demo city, which is now not called the demo city, but it's now called the tutorial island. Also, as you can already see, we have brand new loading screens together with tooltips. These are dynamic tooltips. You're not going to get the same ones every time. You're going to get, there are a bunch of them. You're going to get random ones. It's basically dynamic and all that stuff. So, all right, we are inside the tutorial island now. So, as you can see, we have introduced quite a few more buildings you haven't seen before. The demo city before only had, I think, 8 or 10 different buildings, and this one has multiple times that. It's basically a much larger area with a lot more buildings, residential areas, commercial areas, industrial areas. We've basically made it as best as we can get it to be. With the current features, we wanted to show you what's currently possible. So you can already see like baseball fields, various offices, of course, the Bybit and Avocado HQ, and some various assets, here and there that really make this a much more lively city than it was before. I think we've also reintroduced the time slider. I don't remember if we've removed it in the last public patch, but basically you can play with the time, see how the shadows fall and everything and stuff. So by the way, I am not playing on Ultra since I'm streaming at the same time. If I head into settings, these settings actually quite significantly changed the look of the game. So if your computer can run on Ultra, I highly recommend doing that, because it is much more, the shaders are much more improved, much more, dynamic than on the current setting I'm using. But yeah, anyway, it should be fine. ERTHA is not really about, the graphical aspect, although we're really put a focus on it in these last few patches. So basically this is the tutorial island. This is where new players are eventually going to be landing on and really just learning about ERTHA. There's going to be various buildings that teach about what to do, when to do it, how to play and stuff. And this is also, going to be a community hub for players to gather and see each other and, chat with each other once multiplayer comes around. So let me just zoom out a little bit. As you can see, the size of the island has also been dramatically improved. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 16 times bigger than it was before. And this is the same story for your own hexes. Basically, your hexes on the map are not the size of the demo city that it was before. They're about 16 times larger. So that's going to be, a much more immersive and a much more prettier looking thing than it was before, basically. As you can see, we have some optimizations, performance optimization features like trees basically de-render from a distance. We're probably going to improve that with some sort of other system, but for now, that's basically how it is. So also, if you have any questions, make sure to just feel free to ask during the stream. I really don't mind answering them just right away. And yeah, just feel free to fire them at me whenever you want. So, all right, so let's just head to the globe and let's check out the most important feature of this update, so to say. Just wait a little bit to load. So I've been playing on my water hexes for quite some time now, and I've made a creation already, but I think we can dedicate this time in the stream to, improve it a little bit. Okay, so we're back at the globe. So again, we can just click on the bottom right icon and just click straight on the hex you own, and you're just gonna head right into it. Again, we have a lot of, various tooltips. So, okay. We should be inside my island now. So this is the actual hex, the water hex I own. Oh, let's just not do that yet. This is the hex I own. And basically I've made it to be this way, I've built a city around it. This was just a plain water hex with just water inside it. And this is what I've done to it. I'm not, the most creative with this yet. I think people are going to have much more interesting creations than me. But for now, it's going to have to do. So what I've done is basically made this left side of the island a residential zone. Then this is more of the commercial zone here. And this is like the office zone here. So it's unfinished yet, of course, and I think a good thing to do would be to finish it during this stream. So let's check out the tools we have. First of all, let's head into Terraforming, and it's quite improved since the last time, basically. The UI is now much more polished. First of all, there's descriptions for what the buttons do. The icons have been updated, the icon shapes and everything. So, of course, as you've already tried before, this is the paintbrush for terraforming land. So you can basically do anything you want with land. You can select the radius, you can select the strength, whatever you want. Just playing around with it, you can create some pretty interesting features to your land. Like I've made a volcano here, like an imitation volcano, which I think is pretty cool, and I think it looks cool from the city view. Then of course, like terrain flattening and everything, you've already seen all of that. As you can see, like I can sample a terrain and then basically just flatten it out if I want to build something there. And of course, the painting, as we call it, painting terrain, adding some sort of textures to your terrain. And of course the tree tool, which is I think my favorite tool out of all of them, since you can really make your hex come alive with it. Like, let's see, this area is quite flat, so I can just add some trees and really make it much more dynamic, which I think is pretty cool. And also, yeah, be careful not to clip through. Yep, so, all right, you've already seen all of that. Now, let's go into the city builder, which we've improved quite a bit, to be honest. When you do something to the terrain, it's, of course, going to have to save. And as soon as it saves, as soon as this dialog box goes away, basically, you can... Oh, yeah, I can... just give me a sec. Basically, as soon as it saves... other players are able to see what you've done to the hex. And I just realized my camera is a little bit in the way of the icon, so let me just move it a little bit. Perfect. All right, so yeah, on the left side, as you can see, we have, again, improved UI with like descriptions and everything. So what we've done with this city builder is basically we've improved the 3D grid quite heavily, which makes it basically you can now build on whatever height plane you want with these height buttons. Basically, you select the height, and you can just place buildings on different heights, basically. So if I want to build something, first I have to create a zone for it. So let's say I want to build some office buildings here. Let me just find them real quick. Offices, right. So here we go. We can just place down a few buildings. Just as simple as that. Obviously, this is a test function. Later on, we're going to have to, you know, spend ERTHA tokens and spend resources, especially to build buildings. And of course, time is going to have to pass until they are built. But for now, this is a test module, so you can just play around with random building placements and such. So maybe another office here. There we go. And we've added quite a few government buildings. We've added quite a few stores, warehouses. You can build like warehouses anywhere you want as well. Warehouses are a commercial zone at the moment, but I'm pretty sure we're going to move them to the industrial zone. I'm not sure if that's intended, but we'll see basically. Let's say I want a warehouse there and there. So yeah, so all in all, this, you know, this whole tool has been improved quite a bit. You can really do some creative stuff with it, like maybe there's a road that people take, you know, like a footpath that people take, and I can just draw that on, and also I can add some trees to that. So yeah, you can just play around in detail with it, which is pretty cool. I think it's much improved since the last update. Basically, make anything you want. I think we have some very creative people in the community, so it's going to be quite awesome to see what people come up with. I think this instantly makes it look better to you know, add some trees behind buildings. Makes it look much more lively. All right, so let's exit that. Again, it's going to save, and it's going to show... I see a question in chat. I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking whether I'm editing the demo hex, I'm not editing the demo hex. I'm editing my very own hex I own. So basically at the moment, all 200,000 hexes that have been opened, around 200,000 water hexes that have been opened, can be unique buildings. Basically, so it can be unique creations, so anyone can create anything, and other players are going to see what those players have created. So so yeah, it's quite insane, the dynamic we can have here on the globe in ERTHA. Basically, anyone can, you know, say in the community to check out the hex ID, like whatever 1162, and everyone can jump on that hex and see what they have created. So which brings me to another point I wanted to say. This is like a first exclusive announcement. We're gonna have a community competition for the most creative water hex. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome to see what people come up with, and there's gonna be quite a sizable prize pool to the winners, basically. So stay tuned to our socials for more details on that. But you know, I wanted to say this for the stream as an exclusive sneak peek, basically. So yeah, so I think this shows the tool for terraforming and building quite extensively. I really could just sit here all day and just draw and place buildings and such. It's really quite in depth what you can do. You can do basically whatever you want. And these, for example, we have these luxury apartments I've placed down in the complex. And oh, this actually brings me to my next point. As you can see, some buildings already have stats. Of course, they're not really functional yet, but as you can see, like some residential buildings have citizens, and this will bring like a first look to how the whole economy dynamic and like hex management, hex improvement will work. Basically, players are going to have citizens living on their hex, both real and NPC players. So basically both real players working and living on their hex, and NPCs that'll basically simulate the hex intricacies, like you know, various jobs and various dynamics that'll make it come more alive. Yeah, so So that's basically that. So I think it's a good idea to jump into first person and look around how the city looks from that view. I think it looks pretty cool. So we've improved our characters quite a bit. So firstly, what you're going to see is in character creation. Oh, by the way, yeah, this is a good point. When you first start launch the game, once the update is released, you're gonna have to recreate your character, but that does not mean that everything will be reset. Basically, what it means is we have added much more customization and much more assets into the character creation module. So we want everyone, to have to express their creativity with how they want to create their characters, basically. So this is how I've made mine. We have like 20 plus both female and male hairstyles, a bunch of clothes and stuff like that. Of course, those clothes are default clothes. Obviously, we're gonna have more clothes from like hex boxes and stuff, which is gonna be awesome for your multiplayer presence and stuff. And yeah, so basically animations have also been a little bit improved, although they're still being worked on quite heavily. We're gonna release a patch between 0.6 and 0.7. I'm pretty sure we're gonna release a patch that really improves the dynamic of animations, and that's gonna be quite a big improvement to how it is, although this is quite cool already. Another thing, small thing, but I think it really adds a dynamic to the whole game. So we've added these billboards, as you can see. Basically, these are ad billboards, which in the future are going to be used by real and real and simulated in-game companies to advertise their products. So we really do want to feel this like quote-unquote metaverse, and we're going to have these like ad billboards on both on buildings and on the streets, on posters, on everywhere. And look at how cool the volcano looks. I think it really looks awesome. So that's going to be quite a big feature that I hope players are going to like. Of course, we're not just going to throw advertisements in everyone's face, but it's going to make the world feel much more real, and especially in-game advertisements are going to be very, very, very immersive to the companies that players, will manage in ERTHA. Another thing we have added, which I think makes the world look a lot more dynamic, and this is like one of my favorite small features, is window interiors. So basically you can now see inside of buildings. Those interiors are not accessible yet. Basically you can walk around and see what's inside the buildings mostly, which I think is really cool. I think it's much better than just a bland window on a building. So most of buildings do have this feature, but eventually all buildings will have these features. So that's pretty cool as well. Also, like there's been quite a lot of models introduced into the game. So, for example, these trees, these shrubs, grass, and stuff. Also, a lot more cars are currently in the game, and I feel like they don't know how to drive too well yet. But as evident by the crash in front of me. But yeah, it's obviously still getting improved, and especially because this is my own island that I've created. It's not scripted how the cars drive, so it's going to be basically a function of AI to keep the traffic driving. Also, as you can see, we've added the as you can't see anymore, but we've added Lambos and the Aeon S20s into the game, so you can now see that. This is quite interesting. I think I selected the worst spot to showcase cars. Let me just quickly go out and find something else. There we go. All right, so this seems to be a much more calm area, although we don't see, here's an Aeon S20 and here's an Aeon S20 driving towards me, but basically, there's Lambos in the game. There's NFT vehicles inside the game that players already own, so I think players are going to enjoy seeing these vehicles and eventually being able to drive them once the functionality is in. So basically this is the first person view. I'm not sure I almost forgot. So since our water hexes are the first things to be opened, we really wanted to make sure it's as polished as it can be, so we've actually added swimming to the game. So here you are, after you've created your own beach, like you can just jump in and you can start swimming, which is, a completely useless feature at this point, but it's still pretty cool and still something to do. And, so you can no longer just walk on water or just fall through water. So that adds much needed immersion to that feature, considering we've opened up all oceans. All right, yeah, so I can run around and showcase more buildings that we have. I think I haven't shown the office buildings yet. We have like quite a few banks here and stuff. As you can see, like offices are quite cool. You can really, see the life inside of them, although there's still no NPCs or anyone moving around, but maybe in the future there will be. Again, we have like a few offices and banks. I think that's like a TV tower. I'm not sure actually what that is exactly, but yeah, basically that's going to be a big improvement to the liveliness of everyone's city. Also, one more feature I want to demonstrate. So as you probably have noticed before and are noticing now, I have this profile picture in the top left corner, and basically this is now fully customizable. Well, fully quote unquote. We've basically added default profile images for players to choose from. So you can choose one of 5, or you can choose the ERTHA token if you want. But basically there's 5 pretty cool looking profile pictures. And later on, we're going to release some like actual cool exclusive ERTHA profile pictures that players can own and represent themselves in game by using that. So that's going to be quite a cool feature I'm looking forward to. And again, let me remind everyone that if you want to ask any questions, just feel free to do so in the chat. Let me see if there's any questions here. Okay, I don't see many questions. Please keep the chat English if possible. It will be much preferable, and because I don't really understand any other languages except my native one. So yeah. So basically, as a reminder, the character is quite a bit improved. The character creation will have more assets for you to express your creativity and basically once multiplayer is released, it's going to be really cool seeing what each Earthian chooses to represent themselves as. All right, so anything else I should go through? Again, if there are any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. For the time being, I'll just run around and showcase what we have here and there. Oh yeah, actually another thing. So as I've mentioned, we've added quite a few more buildings to the game. So for example, you haven't seen these types of buildings before, but in reality, we are creating like 100+ assets for various buildings. So these are not at all everything that is in the game. There's going to be many more buildings inside the game, and all of them are going to have some specific features, quirks and features that we're going to showcase almost one by one. I'm pretty sure we're going to go category by category, and we're going to release blog posts basically explaining what each building does. As we've done before with resources mostly, we've talked about what type of buildings resource extraction is going to have to utilize. Which is pretty cool. And of course, these warehouses are where you are going to store your resources and items and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, I think. Oh, and I just realized this door is quite small. or my character is really tall, and that's pretty funny. All right. Again, no idea what is being said in the chat, so bear with me. I don't really have, much questions in the chat as far as I know. Okay, so let me remind everyone that the update is going out in about half an hour to an hour from now, maybe around most likely an hour from now. So all of you are going to be able to access your hexes and access your water hexes and see what is happening there, basically. So yeah, I think a good idea of what to do is to actually show how to start terraforming water hex. So how do you go from a water hex? Oh, I just misclicked again. How do you go from a water hex to this, basically? All right, so let's just jump back into the globe, and I'll terraform one of my different hexes I own. So just a moment. All right, and and when the update launches, if you people want to see my hex and basically see what I've just shown on stream, you can just type in hex 9277 in here, and it's gonna zoom in, and you're just gonna press enter, and you're gonna enter into what I've just shown. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, so let's just jump into a random water hex that I own. Hey, Route Guru, nice to see you here. All right, so here I am in my completely barren and empty water hex. As you can see, there's just not much going on there. It's literally just waves. Okay, so what do I do in order to, you know, oh, that's weird. That's just a graphical glitch. So what do I do if I want to start, you know, editing something? So I just head into building, not building mode, but terraforming mode. And I select modify terrain, and I basically just raise the ocean floor by just clicking it. I'm holding the button. It's gonna take some time. Wait, oh, yeah. I was inside the, give me a sec. I forgot I already terraformed this, this hex. Wait, just give me a sec. My camera was inside the actual terrain. I gotta head into a different one. This was like my testing hex. Again, once terrain data saves, basically you can just make other players see what you've done. I actually don't remember which ones, which hexes I've tested and which ones I haven't tested. So once you head into your own hex, you're not gonna see what I just saw, you know, like that was me just messing around with a terraforming tool. You're just gonna see a completely barren wasteland. So let's try this one. I'm pretty sure this one is gonna be okay. There we go. Okay, this one should be completely empty. Yep. Okay, so heading into the terraforming module, I'm gonna increase the radius and increase the strength, and just gonna click on the ocean floor, and there we go. It's gonna, you know, raise the ocean floor. I suggest, you know, maxing out these radius and strength buttons, because it's quite far deep down, so you're gonna have to, you know, you're gonna want to do it quickly. Okay, so let me just lower it a little bit. I want the island to be just above the ocean floor. I'm gonna click on flatten terrain now. I'm gonna shift click to sample the terrain height, which is, I think, is gonna be pretty nice. A pretty solid, you know, terrain level. And I'm just gonna increase this, and bam, I'm just gonna flatten out like a pancake. Just gonna increase the size of the island as much as I want. Maybe I want this to be like a very small island. So let's just do this, and let's turn down the radius again. Click on modify terrain, and I'm just gonna, you know, lower the size of the island to make it look more realistic. Just going around the island. Okay, I think this is pretty cool. I think we can also, you know, paint the terrain as a beach. Made it too big, but yeah, basically you can paint the terrain as you want, and maybe just a little bit of green in the middle. Just a little bit of green. There we go. I think that makes sense. Also, I probably want some hills, so I'm just gonna decrease the radius, and I'm just gonna also decrease the strength, and I'm just gonna, you know, just draw around like some hills here and there. I think it would make sense. Like, let's say this is like a volcanic island. Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to increase, like, want this to go a little bit up and make this a cliff, and, you know, make this kind of a jagged edge, and then go into the painting tool and just make it, which texture is best for this? I think this one, or, oh yeah, this one is pretty cool. And just make this like a cliff side, and maybe just play around with this a little bit more. Maybe decrease the radius even a little bit more, and make this really jagged to, you know, like, let's say 2 continental plates just crashed into each other and made this island. I think that would be a pretty cool backstory. And also what I like doing is just, you know, on the shores, just making a bunch of rocks, kind of, you know, imagining that this is like an archipelago of little islands. That's pretty cool, I think. Yep, like that, like that. So again, in about an hour, this is what you're going to be able to do and more. You're just going to be able to, you know, be creative and do whatever you want. Okay, so this looks pretty cool, I think. So anything else I want to do while I'm in this terrain editor, I probably want to just make these beaches a little bit more subtle. A little bit less jagged. Yep, like that, like that, like that. That would be pretty cool. That's nice. More of it looks more of a beach now. Yep, I think that's pretty cool. All right, so let's place trees later, and let's just go into the city builder and wait for it to save. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna have to do is lower the height of the terrain you want to build on to your actual island height. So I think this is gonna be pretty accurate for my island. If the height is not exactly 100% where it needs to be, it's gonna self-adjust, and you can later kind of adjust it and edit it and fix it in the terraforming tool. So let's see. If I place down a road, I think it's pretty good. Let me just head out and actually see for myself. Oh yeah, it's perfect. I got the height perfectly. Basically, it's right on where I want it to be. And again, we could just see where we're at any point in time. So let's go back to the city builder. So let's say I want a few roads, you know, just to... This is a super duper small. Actually, I probably want to use small roads for this. Or actually, probably doesn't make a difference, but that's okay. So again, a super duper small island. You can make yours much bigger. I recommend using the very first road tile that you see on your hotbar. Actually, I'm thinking, do I even need... No, I don't think I need roads for this small of an island. I'll just draw footpaths. Because I don't think it makes any sense for, you know, cars to be driving around on this small of an island. So let's just do a few zones. So let's say... this is probably going to be all housing. That only makes sense in an island so small. So I just clicked on residential zone, and, you know, let's just place down a few buildings. Houses. Yeah, these are the sorts of houses that you would probably see on an island like this. Here and here. And then maybe, just maybe, an apartment building. And anything else that would make sense here? Let's see. Maybe a really small office. Like a corner store or something like that. Oh, I obviously cannot place it there because I need it to be a commercial zone. Bam, there we go. So let's see how this looks. Yep, it needs some trees and needs some footpaths. So if I go into the terraforming module, let's just make a few footpaths. I would assume people walk. Actually, it would have made more sense. No, let me just edit this real quick. It would have made more sense for these buildings to be facing this way. Yep, much more sense. Probably like that. And now, let's turn down the radius. And now we can create a few footpaths. Something like that. Again, I've made the island a lot smaller than you are able to do it. You can make a big island and fit everything you want in there. You know, this is just for showcase purposes. Okay, that makes sense, I think. That's pretty cool. Probably people walk towards this beach also. I just realized I probably want this to be much higher than it is, because the buildings are taller than the thing. So let's just raise it a little bit. Yep, I think that's much better. Yep, that's much better. And now for the trees, we can just play around however we want. Perfect. I think this is pretty cool. Oh, you can also place trees inside of the building compounds if you wish. I think these people would want that, since it seems that they want to live in like a nature place, if you know what I mean. Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. For like a very small island, I think this is pretty cool. Again, your character can run around and see what's going on. So yeah, I think this makes sense as this little island. So again, basically, you can build anything you want. You can, you know, make it really small or make it really large. There are tools at your disposal that are really, you know, gonna help you with creativity as much as you want. So yeah, let's just maybe jump on this mountain here. How does it look from above? Oh, it looks pretty cool, I think. Maybe we can jump on the very tip of this thing. Probably not. It's too small. Yeah, we can jump on this though. There we go. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's running, but like the distances are still, you know, quite a bit far. Everything is quite far from each other. So even though the character is running, it doesn't look like it's going that fast. And again, you can swim. Oh, actually, who swims with clothes, right? Let me just real quick just take off my clothes, because you can do that now. And there you go. And you can swim without clothes. And of course, you can put back those, put those clothes back on. If you see an item with an ERTHA icon in it, that means we haven't created the inventory icon for that item yet. It'll be updated, but it's not a bug. It's you know, it's just a placeholder. So just keep aware of that. And just to see how small my island is, look at how big my island is here, and look at the boundaries of the water hex I have. So yeah, it's quite a big area that you can build in. It's a really big area. There we go. You also see how it looks at night. There we go. That's the moon, by the way. Can't really see the stars through the clouds, but that's the moon anyway. Yeah, I think the game really looks quite amazing from this update onwards. I think we've really nailed down a few things that make the world much more, immersive and interesting. So yeah. Yeah, let's go back to the normal time. It's the moon. Yes, you are correct. You can see how the shadows fall. It's quite cool. Let me try. So I cannot promise the stream is not going to lag, but let me try just setting this to ultra, because the game looks even better then. Not sure. Oh yeah, it's a bit laggy for me now, but not sure how it's going to represent on stream. But make sure when you play the update to try out the ultra mode. I think it makes the game look really nice. And here we can watch the sunset. I think that's pretty nice. Okay, so again, any questions in chat, feel free to, just shoot them at me anytime you want. Otherwise, we're just gonna, wrap up in a few minutes and get the update on the way. New galaxy wave and gates of power. Yeah, it's a bit laggy for me on Ultra, but it's honestly, it's just because I have a 6-year-old GPU. It's a 1060, so yeah, it's not the best in the business. I really just have not upgraded my home PC yet, and yeah. Okay, so in this beta, when can we spend tokens on terraforming? And yeah, so in this beta, terrain changes are free, but this is quite important. Basically, any changes you do now, you're gonna have the opportunity to save when the token utility is introduced. So all these changes you see, like me raising this island from out of the ocean floor and everything, they're gonna cost ERTHA tokens. These changes are gonna cost ERTHA tokens, and basically, you're gonna have the option to preserve this terrain that you've already made in this update by just paying the amount of ERTHA tokens it would have cost to terraform and get it that way. So it's basically just going to be a pop-up in a further update to pay ERTHA tokens and keep what you've done terrain wise. Building wise, it's going to be a little bit different. So buildings are going to be reset because buildings are going to cost resources, they're going to cost time, they're going to cost ERTHA tokens to build, and that is just something that the whole in-game economy has to play out correctly. So players are going to have to gather resources for those buildings, then either sell those resources or use those resources themselves, things like that. So buildings are going to be definitely reset, but maybe not like the most basic ones, but you'll see what I mean when we talk about one of the further updates. I think it's going to be really cool. As a sneak peek, basically, I think I'm not sure if we've already mentioned this before. Maybe it's going to be like a leak, a sneak peek here on the stream. So basically, all landowners that own land are going to get sort of packages for the tier of land that they hold. So as we've mentioned many times before, for example, city owners will get a lot of buildings to make sure that the hex they own is actually a city. So you're going to have to you're going to be able to place a lot of buildings for free because your hex is a city, you've paid for a city, and you should be able to get the buildings that are usually found in a city. Those that own just normal terrains are going to have some very basic default buildings, for example buildings to extract your resources on the globe that you find on the globe currently, and things like that. So basically, yeah, so all landowners are going to receive some sort of an airdrop in the form of buildings that will be functional in game, and that will help start the economy, instead of just starting from literally zero. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. I'm pretty sure I already answered the question about tokens. There's not going to be token utility in this beta yet. Also, let me remind you that when we finally release the first country, it's going to be determined on the vote of the community. So basically, if you're a part of, ERTHA's Brazilian community or the Russian community or the Turkish or whatever country community, make sure to, talk between each other to get ready to vote for your country if you want it to be released, because basically there's going to be a community-wide vote to get the first country released. The country with the most votes will win. Basically, yeah. Actually, a good point I thought about while looking at the moon, if I can find it here. So a little bit off topic here, but I think a lot of people will still be interested. So our sister project, so to call it, basically another project from Three Towers called Moon, is having an IDO very, very, very soon. Well, they've already had quite a few IDOs on launchpads, but the token listing is on July 24th. So, be aware of that if you're interested in checking out Moon. Check it out. Also, it's pretty cool. It's basically gonna be an ecosystem between Moon and ERTHA. There are gonna be two different games, and Moon is going to be quite different from ERTHA, but it's still going to be interesting. And as portal owners, those who own portals in ERTHA, are going to have cross travel between ERTHA and the Moon. So again, IDO on July 24th. Go to their socials, check them out, and I think you're going to be pretty impressed with what they've done with the demo version already. So all right, so yeah, that takes care of that. Any more questions? I do not see in the chat. I think if that's all, let me just give one more minute for any other questions to be asked. And if there are none, I think we're going to wrap this up. So again, hopefully you can... Hopefully you understand how to start terraforming your land. There's going to be a very useful guide about how to actually access your land on our Medium. It already is posted there. It's basically called How to Access Your Land. So all you need to do is connect your wallet, your external wallet, to the marketplace at market.ertha.com. And once you log in with your ERTHA game account into that marketplace and connect the external wallet, it's going to sync the external wallet and your account together, and from then on, your ERTHA account can access and modify the terrain and buildings in that hex ID. Can we open hex boxes on 0.7? Hopefully you can open hex boxes before 0.7. We're hoping to roll out that feature before 0.7, but it's going to be before or with 0.7, yes. I think that makes sense. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let me just quickly shout out the hex IDs. Can we continue to study in the new update version? Yes, you can. One more thing, if your study progress has been reset, don't worry, it didn't go anywhere. We just have to import your account from our database to our new database, something like that. Devs will do their thing. So if your account does not have study progress, let me know in the community chats, and I'll ask the devs to look into it. So yeah, so again, if you want to see what I've shown you on this stream, my hexes basically, it's 9277 and 151187. Those are my two hexes I just showed on stream. You're going to be able to see the exact same thing on your game once the update rolls out. Yep, I think that's pretty much it. Any other questions? Let me just give it 10 seconds. You're welcome for the answer. I'm happy to help. And here we go. You can see the moon on the globe view as well. The moon. All right, I think that makes sense. I've shown everything there is pretty much to show. There's also a bunch of... make sure to read the full patch notes. It's a list miles long. We've changed, fixed, added a lot of things. I definitely wasn't able to show everything in the stream, so make sure to check out our announcement channels to find the patch notes there. And so you can visit anybody's water hexes. Yes, you can. You can basically click on any hex on the globe, any water hex on the globe, and enter it, and you're going to see what's inside. So obviously most of them are just going to be plain water, as I'm sure you'll see after this loads. But yeah, where was I? Basically read the patch notes, and you're going to see for yourself everything that we've, changed. As you can see, I cannot terraform this hex since I do not own it. That only, of course, makes sense. So yeah. All right. I think that is all. Again, the update launches in the next half an hour or so, hopefully even sooner. So yeah. Any event planned in game, we're going to have a community event. As I've already mentioned, we're going to have a community event for the most creative water hex created. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to announce the details very soon, and the winners are going to have some quite amazing prizes. So yeah. All right, guys. As always, today it's been only me, Aeon. Unfortunately, like I said, Linus couldn't make it, but I hope the stream was as interesting as always. And yeah, play the new update. Follow us on Twitter, which is at ERTHA Join our Discord, discord.gg/ERTHA, and Telegram t.me/Earthium if you want to chat there. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great evening, morning, or day, wherever you're located on the globe. And I'll see you next time. This is the ERTHA Metaverse, signing out.